All right, so new week. So I think I'm gonna start narrowing down these videos down to the start of the new week. Basically, everything's moving. I mean, if you're you, I think that if you're watching these videos, maybe you're trying to get better at trading. And if you have the TD sequential, and if you're following kind of what I'm showing here, you should be fine. Or at least, I think there's enough content on the channel to where you could start to form your own kind of strategy. Uh, just because this strategy works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else. So I don't, unless I see something interesting, I don't think I'm going to be doing these. I was at one point almost doing them every day. Then I was doing them like every 2 days and maybe like two or three a week. Just right now, I mean, everything's so bullish. Uh, everyone's going to look like a genius on their calls. I think we're going up. I did say last week that we could consolidate for a little while, and we did. We did have a little bit of a pullback, small, small, small. Looked like we were going to retest the breakout of this channel again, but towards the end of the week, we had good strength in price action. Um, so yeah, unless I see some sort of top forming and we could see a larger pullback, I still think everyone's saying that everyone's waiting for 50,000. I read an article that's saying was 50,000 was going to be a psychological barrier. I think once we get over it, right? So yeah, we almost got it. We were only $50 away from it. But as soon as we get over it, I think we're going to move quickly to 52, 53,000. And I'm saying that I think as soon as we cross it, as soon as price crosses it, um, and I mean price, like as soon as we wick above it, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to move quickly to 52, 53,000. So I don't think there's a psychological barrier there. There's nothing there that's really telling me. I mean, we have this Fibonacci here that's showing that we're going to have some sort of resistance. We can pull up some other things to see if that's the case. So let's pull up. So we can pull up our Bollinger Bands. This is on the weekly. On the Bollinger Bands, it doesn't say we're going to get any sort of resistance. There's an upper bound at 51. Let's look at let's look at what else do I want? We can look at the SAR. We already broke it. That was bullish. We broke it 4 weeks ago. That was a bullish signal, and like I said on the hash ribbons, that pretty much gave a buy that same week, the same that we broke it. So we're essentially we're going into our fourth week. We're 3 weeks in of this bullish movement. I mean, this is bullish. I think we're going to go to new all-time highs. There's nothing that I see that's going to pull us back significantly. We can look at our RSI. Our RSI is in good shape. I think on the daily, it's keeps on coming, to the area and then kind of breaking down. But I'll pull up the TD sequential here, and then I will bring up the CMF so we can evaluate the daily together. So we had the 9. We got 1 to 4 candles essentially. This came back a little bit more than what I thought it did, because if I look at if I look at here, this is the close. I'm going to count one. The way you judge your 1 to 4 candle pullback, it's where the close is, and then you count down from the previous price action based on the candle action. So like the wicks and the body. So I would go. I'll pull this here. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So 1, 2, 3, and then we had price. So here, right at 46,280 is where we kind of should have had some support, and we kind of saw it here on this wick. We went a little bit lower, but it wicked up quickly, and then we went here, and then we got our reversal candle. We had our CMF start moving up. RSI started to complement that, but now we got price action above the 9. We didn't get a prior green number above a prior green number. Now, we technically did because the 2 wicked above the 1, but I like to see the daily close above the high to kind of get a confirmation. So if we get this 4 above this 3, that's really good. Especially if it's a full day. We have a full day. Essentially, 22 hours left until we close. So I need to mark this. So we didn't quite come down and do a number flip. So I'm gonna keep this here at 47 953. But we did get a 9 consolidation retest, and then now we're breaking them. Now on the 4 hour, we're most likely, we have 2 more hours, a little bit over 2 hours left on this. So we have a 2 above a 1, that'll be above the 9, that'll be bullish. Our RSI hasn't broken into the overbought area. We're getting some divergence on the CMF, but we're kind of in this channel here, between between 0.2 and 0.24. So there is some bearish divergence here on the price action, but I mean on the CMF with compared to the price action, but we're kind of a little bit more bullish because we're getting our TD sequential giving us that signal. And plus we retested this 9, so I can delete that and we're good because that gave us support, and it did give us support. My target is still, until I think we start to lose steam, won't be until we get to the mid 55, and then maybe we'll see some sort of pullback, like a little one, like 10% or something like that. So, but as of right now, we're looking great. This, I think, will get a full count to the 9. Again, I mean, everything looks great. Our CMF is moving up. I think we'll get a break here. We'll significantly break above this. We'll probably get, overbought area for maybe a couple of days. Then we'll start to look for a little pullback. Traditionally, whenever Bitcoin kind of goes sideways, alts tend to move. So I want to highlight one alt. Even though I don't traditionally trade altcoins, if you see something in crypto, especially something that has been around for, I would say, at least 2 to 3 years, and it's starting to get some good momentum as far as a community kind of building around it, and it starting to get a little bit more liquidity, meaning it has, I would say, at least, I mean, in crypto, the valuations are insane. So I would say at least $1 billion. If you have at least $1 billion worth of market cap, probably something to start looking at. But I want to highlight Cardano because it's been moving like crazy, and it recently broke its all-time high. Let me finish going through this Bitcoin chart. So yeah, we broke through this. We broke through this red cloud, which is good. Our weekly, we broke through that. We've continued up. We can look at our 4 hour real quick. That's found support. What I was looking for was upper targets. What I'm gonna stick to, we can look at our funding rate too, is I'm gonna stick to, I don't think we're gonna start losing steam until we get to the channel target. So it looked like our daily kind of flipped, where the market is starting to be more bullish. On the weekly, I don't think that's flipped yet, so that's still good. The market is still saying that it's not believing this run up, that we could get a little bit of a pullback so that these shorts can, realize their shorts and make some money on the short. But we'll see how this week goes. I think we get to this upper area this week because everything looks fine to me. Our moving averages were used for entries. I entered sooner based on the hash ribbons crossing, and then us getting a breakout, and this just looks so bullish. I didn't want to wait until these moving averages go. This moving average strategy goes full in because I think we'll probably be reaching the 9 count by that time for the weekly. So, but if you're going by this, you would have entered here another 25%. Hash ribbons would have told you to go in 3 weeks, almost 4. Full 3 weeks ago, all in. You would have had some sketchy price action, but you would have had the break of the channel as well, so you could have been starting to be more confident. I still think this is good. Like I said, target is mid 55s. I think once we even wick above 50, we're going to go to 52, 53 quickly. That'll be from here. That'll be like a 5% move. So I would expect at least a 5 to 6% move within 1 day soon. So we'll see. I mean, we had a 5% move here, so I think we'll get a candle that's similar to this. Could we get it on this 4? Yeah. If we get it on the 5, I might be a little cautious that we might not print the 9, or we'll get a 5 and then we'll get like a we'll get like a 7 that turns into a 1 or an 8 that turns into a 1, because I think we might get some consolidation, because I think it'll stay I think it'll stay at this 52, 53 for a little while until it reaches the full target of the channel, only because I think we're going to get into the overbought area on the RSI, and I think we'll take a little break, and I think we'll move up. So let's go to Cardano, because I said I wanted to highlight that, only because what I want to say is, in crypto, whenever something breaks its all-time high, it usually moves quickly above it. So we can see here the previous all-time high that is set back in 2017 or 2018, January 2018, was where are we at? 131. So let me hide this real quick, and I can probably clear this up. So 131. Where do we get here? So we closed here. Did we close above it? Did we get above it? No, we didn't. So it must have been a daily. So this day here, man, that was a big wick. They must have had like a. Let's look at this. That's a weird day. I don't know exactly what happened on Cardano that day. It was February. It was a large wick. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's like error in the data. It went all the way down to 15 cents. Let's look at that. Let's look at that on another exchange. Let's look at it on Coinbase. Were they trading in February? No, it wasn't. So let's look at another exchange. Let's look at Bitfinex. Because that just might be some sort of outlier. And I think it is, because I don't see it on this. Yeah, it must be some error in the data as far as, or something up with Cardano on Kraken that day that I'm not aware of. Yeah, I'm not sure. But either way, it came back and retested this line. I'm not sure exactly, but what I'm looking for is the break. So what was that? We're looking at 131 as a previous all-time high. We broke it on week of February 22nd, which was here. Where's the break? Okay, it didn't quite break it here. Oh, it did. It broke it here. And then it pulled back. Let's look at the CMF and see what that was showing in the RSI. So we can see that there's bullish divergence on both of these indicators as price was going up. So that could have told you that we was going to get some sort of, price was going to ease for a little while. But what I want to say is that usually whenever in crypto, if something breaks the all-time high, it has a pretty big move. This took, it consolidated because we were on a 9 initially whenever it hit that high. So it consolidated for weeks, which that would have been a good buying opportunity, right? So how many weeks did we consolidate for? We essentially consolidated for 2 months. So it consolidated for 2 months, and then it finally got a break of the 2 above a 1 above the 9, and then that next week it printed 30%. But if you could look here, there's bearish divergence everywhere on these two indicators that I use the most, which would have told you, hey, maybe you need to get out. You've had this big move. You had a consolidation. You had a big move. And then, look, we lost 43%. And then we went down. This is whenever we're getting the crackdown in May. But now we've had consolidation again. We've broke above the previous high, right? We did it here, 2 above a 1, above the 9, that we kind of consolidated around, came back, found support. The support was a little bit lower than previous all-time high, but you can see that there's a channel supported here. And then we have the CMF that started to trend up on the weekly, so that could have helped you get in. We can look, and the RSI was as well, but we would have looked at this better. You can see that it bottomed out here. We had a reversal candle, and we're starting to get positive CMF. On the daily, it probably showed you the same thing. Yep. You had positive CMF. I went positive. We have positive CMF here as it consolidates. Got a reversal candle, but we got a 9. Then we got, these are essentially green candle above a prior green candle above the 9. We're going up. Let me pull up my other histogram, because this continues the 9 for me. So we have a 9 here. We didn't print a 9. So we haven't retested these two. So we do have some probability of it going back here. We have an aggressive, what it's called an aggressive 13 on this reversal, but Yeah, so let's do a let's try to see where we're gonna go. What's the potential? This is bullish as long as Bitcoin continues its bullish run. I did put a Fibonacci here from the previous high to kind of predict where we could go, where we might find some resistance. It kind of found resistance in the mid range here. Not really much, but $3 looks like a next target area. I don't see any patterns that I can kind of go off of, especially not on the weekly or the daily. I mean, maybe you have like a descending triangle, but that would have been extreme, a little bit extreme. Let's look at our 4 hour because I can mark retest. Didn't get a retest here. I can draw that out. Make that orange. I think that's okay as far as drawing everything else out. Yeah, I mean, so I'm bullish on Cardano. Since it broke its all-time high, I can pull up this Fibonacci. What's this horizontal line? Oh, that's an old one. Did this get retested? This got retested on the... It didn't get retested on the daily. But this is... Is this the one that's on the weekly? No. It almost did. I guess I don't know why I took that off my chart. All right, I think this is going too long, but bullish on it. Where's the next target? $3. That aligns with the old Fibonacci and the new Fibonacci based on the previous all-time high that we've developed on this in this cycle. So $3, and then we'll see from there. We'll have to analyze. I'll pull up my moving averages real quick. Moving averages look okay. So if you entered from that, you would have entered all in. You could have anticipated it and entered in here, the movement, based on maybe some other metrics. So you'd be in it. You wouldn't exit 15, 25%, 100% until these all start to cross over. But if you start to get really extended with a weekly 9 and a daily 9, nines all over the place, even on the 4 hour, then you would maybe start to scale out a little bit sooner. But for the most part, everything looks good with Cardano until this is all over. Where are we at now? We're almost at $100 billion market cap. You know, everyone's like Cardano versus Ethereum. We can look at those together if there's a pair. Is there a Cardano ADA pair? I know there's a Cardano Bitcoin pair. Is there a Cardano ETH pair that we can look at to see how Cardano's performing against Ethereum / ETH? Oh, okay. I think there is. No, there isn't. I thought there would be. Huh, there isn't. So we can just... Let's see if it'll do that. No, it won't do that for us. So is this the ETH, though? Is this the Ethereum ETH? Or is this the... Yep, this is ETH. So this is Cardano over Ethereum. So Cardano has been outperforming Ethereum for the past 2 weeks. And it hasn't broken its all-time high as far as the pair goes. I mean, you can there's minimal metrics you can go by, but where would you be right now? This is saying that Cardano is going to outperform Ethereum. And we're on a 3. The daily is on a 6. We did have a 9 where we found resistance. It finally broke above that. So you have 9 here that they didn't get to. So you can look at Cardano outperforming Ethereum at least for the next week by at least 10% as far as the return goes. So yeah, I mean, let's look at gold real quick. And then I'll look at... I mean, I keep on bringing this up because people are always like, Bitcoin versus gold, but gold doesn't look great. It kind of turned a little bit, but this is still bearish. And then we can look at the S&P because we had some good movement. We had some negative movement earlier in the week, and then it recovered. So we had a 9. No surprise we had a little bit of a pullback. Kind of found support relatively where it should have found support here, and it did, because you have a 9, you have a 1. This is like a setup trend line. So found support a little bit above it. That's actually bullish for the stock market. We're on a 9 here. Maybe we get a little bit more consolidation. I can pull up the CMF and RSI real quick to see where we're at on these. So it looks like the RSI has been kind of bouncing around the overbought area. CMF started to trend down. Our daily RSI started going up, but I mean, this is actually bullish because we're having bullish divergence as price goes down. So maybe we break above this line again, but as far as, yeah, so we're not in the most extreme areas like we were here in COVID, the COVID crash, where we had our CMF significantly down and our RSI significantly down, giving us bearish divergence. We actually had a break of the RSI, and we actually broke the previous trend that was there. If you're looking at it like this, right? So you can almost draw it like that almost. So that broke. Has the CMF broke it? I would say probably not yet. It's actually trended down. Maybe that's, well, maybe you could draw it like that, and we did break it. Found support bounce, found support bounce. We do have a continuation, looks like, of the count on the monthly, and we're on a 6-week count. So you really want this RSI on the monthly to break above this 0.78 if you wanted a continuation of positive price movement in the stock market. But know that once you get up to, like 86, in the 80s, that we're most likely going to pull back. When's this one? Oh, this is a 96. What was it in 2001? Oh, wow. That was massive bearish divergence, big time. That was the peak. This market was ready to fall since 96. It formed. Dot-com bubble went all the way here. Then it finally fell. But look at this extreme bearish divergence. Yeah, you had to wait 4 years, and you probably would have been saying, the stock market's going to crash, stock market's going to crash. But eventually, it came true. And then here's the COVID crash, where you have some bearish divergence, but not as extreme as the .com. Wow. So we can still get there. I mean, that's COVID. This is the setup for the .com crash, essentially. So we're not even, but the stock market still went up, right? So you can still get upward price action. But once you start to see these peaks, you can start to see, hey, maybe we're in for a correction, like an ultimate big time correction. But we could be years out from that. But so yeah, I mean, we look at it on the weekly or the daily. Let's look at it on the weekly. That's what I wanted to click. We're getting some bearish divergence, but we need to start moving up. Doesn't mean we can't get some price action and go up, but as of right now, RSI is not going up. Our CMF's not trending up. So yeah, we can still get positive in the index, but the overall trend could start coming down and setting up maybe years from now for a correction. But that's not the goal of this specific video right now. But hey, something to look out for. Something, if you're a big macro trader and you like calling recessions, maybe. I mean, you have indicators here that showed it clearly. You have to wait a couple years, but all right. So I think that's it, and thanks for watching.